We are here today to make it plain, to make a very, very loud declaration that we stand with the people of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, and there's no shaking. We are here today to proclaim loudly that the Akufo-Addos and Ouattaras do not speak for us. They speak for themselves and the imperial masters. We speak for ourselves. And we say loudly today that our stand is with the people in the Sahel who have formed the Alliance of Sahel States. That's where we stand. All these leaders, without exception, all of them, troop to their countries to go and support them in self-correlation. All of them. But when the people reject the neo-colonial order, when the people decide that there should be no foreign military bases on African soil, they come together and they want to fight. They don't fight for our salvation. They don't fight for our ability to grow our own food. They don't fight for our ability to educate their people on the basis of our own culture, on the basis of our own history, and so on. They fight to retain French control over Niger. They fight to retain French control over Burkina Faso and over Mali. They will never succeed. We will not allow them to succeed. Comrades and friends, as we speak, this very moment, the NATO countries have asked 3 countries in West Africa, Ghana, La Côte d'Ivoire, and Benin, to provide them with space to establish drone bases. Now you know that the United States of America had its largest drone base in Niger for many years. How did that benefit the people of Niger? How did that improve the economic conditions of the people of Niger? They are asking for these drone bases in order to prepare to wage war on the innocent people of Niger, to wage war on the innocent people of Burkina Faso. We will not allow it. The resistance against foreign military presence on every African space will continue unabated until final victory is achieved. Listen, drone bases are not set up to produce cassava. Drone bases are not set up to educate our children, to teach them literature, to teach them history, to teach them science, and so on. Drone bases are for killing. They are for war. Our need now is to make sure that our people have access to potable water. Our need now is to make sure that we defeat these senseless jihadists that they support. That is our need. Our need is to use the resources we get from the exploitation of our gold, from the exploitation of our diamonds, from the exploitation of uranium and so on, to build that new Africa in which every citizen is entitled to clean water, to build that new Africa in which every child can go to school, to build that new Africa in which everybody who can work will have a job. That is our responsibility. And it is because of this responsibility that we insist on waging a full-scale agitation, struggle, and protest against the erection of foreign military bases on African soil. Comrades and friends, I come from Ghana. I come from Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's Ghana. And I have seen the type of military cooperation agreement that they have signed with the United States of America. Under this agreement, when U.S. soldiers come into our country, and they kill the people of Ghana, you cannot take them to court. Under this agreement, when U.S. soldiers come to Ghana and they destroy the property of the Ghanaian people, we cannot take them to court. Under this agreement, U.S. soldiers, when they come to Ghana for operations, use our frequencies for free. Under this agreement, U.S. soldiers can walk in and out of Ghana as if they are walking in and out of their bedrooms. They don't need even passports to enter Ghana. Under this agreement, we have given them 1 out of 3 terminals of our airport for their operations. This must stop. This must stop. And it will only stop if we mobilize ourselves and if we continue to resist and if we continue to show solidarity with those who are achieving victory in these areas. You, the people of Niger, under the leadership, your current leadership, have managed to dismantle those military bases in your country. And we salute you, and we will learn from it, and we will do the same. You are showing us the way. I recall that on 6 March 1957, when Osadefo Dr. Kwasi Nkrumah declared the independence of Ghana, he made a profound statement. He said to the world that the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa. Today, we stand here in this beautiful city of Niamey, the capital of Niger, and we make a similar declaration. The patriotic revolutions in Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali will be meaningless unless they are linked with the total liberation of the African continent from the clutches of neocolonialism. Those revolutions will be absolutely meaningless if it doesn't lead to the realization of the aspirations which were expressed in the final resolution of the 5th Congress of the Pan-African movement in Manchester. And that is why we stand shoulder to shoulder with you. We stand shoulder to shoulder with you because our destinies are linked. Our destinies are inseparable. We will die together or live together. And I believe that we will live together rather than die together. We will live together in victory. It has been said many, many times that injustice anywhere is a threat to all people and so on. Injustice, whether it is being committed against the people of the Saudi Arab Democratic Republic, whether it's being committed against the people in the Chagos Islands, whether it's being committed against the people in West Papua, whether it's being committed against the people in Cuba, whether it's being committed against the people in Venezuela, whether it's being committed against any people anywhere, it's an injustice that we have to fight and fight with all of our strength. So today, from this very platform, we proclaim our commitment to ending the genocide in Gaza. And we must make it clear that that genocide will not be ended by countries like the United States of America. Because what is the difference between the United States of America and Israel? Show me the difference. All of this are settler colonial apartheid regime. The United States killed the Indian population, exterminated the Indian population in order to establish the United States of today. Australia did the same. All of them did the same. How do you expect them to condemn themselves and to act against themselves? It is impossible. Victory would not come to Palestine. It will not come to Gaza because the United States wants it. Victory will come to Palestine because we stand shoulder to shoulder with the Palestinian people and we fight to the very end. We fight for victory. That is how victory will come. Victory would not come to the people of the Saudi Arab Democratic Republic because the United States wanted, it has never wanted liberation of any country. So that is our tax. Comrades and friends, the path to African unity is straight. The path to African unity is very clear. The path to African unity is certain. It is a path of resistance against oppression in all its forms. It is the path of resistance against oppression, whether it expresses itself as colonial domination or racism. It is the path to freedom. It is the path to liberty of all peoples, and all the working people of the world will stand up, shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, in order to bring about that victory. That victory is inevitable. It is coming. It will come, and we will. Dear comrades and friends, this afternoon, we are trying to find the path to African unity. Let me say from the very onset that there is only one path to African unity and African freedom, and that path is resistance. And when we talk about resistance, we are talking essentially about rejecting the prescriptions of those who enslaved us, the prescriptions of those who colonized us, and the prescriptions of those who seek to dominate us today. That prescriptions are dangerous for our health, they are dangerous for nation building, and dangerous for that rising Africa which will hold its hold in this world. What are the prescriptions they put before us? We have been told time and again that if we want to develop, we have to copy France. We have been told time and again that if we want to develop, we have to copy Britain. We have to copy Germany. We have to copy the United States of America. But that option is simply not available to us, and we have to stop the dreaming. That option is not available to us because the process of accumulation, which led to the current state of development of the Western countries, involved enslaving other people. It involved the transatlantic slave trade. It involved colonizing other people. And it involves today's new colonial exploitation. I'd like to pose this question. Those of us in this room, if we are to follow the example of France, which people can we capture today as slaves to work for us without pay for hundreds of years? That option is simply closed. If you are to follow the example of Britain today, which people are we going to colonize? Which people are we going to colonize if you are to follow the example of Britain? That option is also closed. If you are to follow France, whose people are we going to get and insist that they place all of their foreign reserves in a central bank? That option is also closed. There's only one option before us as African people and as peoples of the world fighting to liberate themselves from capitalism. And that option is self-reliant development in cooperation with other countries like us, other countries which are victims of capitalism and which are victims of imperialism. That is the only option available to us. Today, we are in Niamey, the capital of Benin. And we are here. We have not been tear gassed. We have not been arrested by the police. As a matter of fact, the government, led by Brigadier General Chiami, has made it possible by placing excellent facilities at disposal to think about Africa, to act about Africa, and to move forward together. We cannot be against people and organizations who stand with us. We cannot do that simply because some people are fixated on some forms of government. We are being told that this is a military regime. And because it's a military regime, we have to fight it. We are being told that we are not in the era of multi-party democracy and therefore hell must break loose. Comrades and friends, look at those who are talking to us. Look at them. Look at what they do. You all know that the United States of America is dominated by two political parties. No matter who wins, they will invade Iraq. No matter who wins, they will bomb Afghanistan to us. No matter who wins, they will impose sanctions on Cuba. No matter who wins, they will supply weapons for the genocide which is being committed in Gaza. Those are not two parties. That's a one-party state with two faces. They should stop lecturing us about multi-party democracy. They have told us. And because some soldiers are in charge, we need to fight them. My goodness. Comrades of every country. Soldiers are part of the citizens of every country. They have a right to participate in the governance of our countries. They have a right to be citizens. And that must be made absolutely clear. In any case, who started the phenomena of coup d'etats in Africa? When did they learn that coups are bad? Only recently. They were in La Côte d'Ivoire and they overthrew the government of Laurent Gbagbo in La Côte d'Ivoire. Didn't they know that coup d'etats were bad then? We have learned some important lessons from them, and we will teach them their own lessons. Who bears the responsibility for the assassination of Patrice Lumumba in the Congo? Patrice Lumumba was not just assassinated. His body was dissolved in acid. His front teeth was taken out. What can be more terrorist than the overthrow, assassination, and dissolution of the body of Patrice Lumumba in acid? These are the people who are talking to us about democracy. These are the people who are teaching us lessons about how to govern ourselves and so on. We refuse to accept these teachings. We will find our own path to develop it. Comrades, we have been told that in this world today, when you run into crisis, you run to Washington. And you go to the International Monetary Fund, and you go to the World Bank, and they tell you how to get out of crisis. Comrades, who can show one country in the world, not two, not three, not four, one country in the world, which has developed because it followed the prescriptions of the World Bank and the IMF? None whatsoever. 18 times since 1966. 18 times since 1966. Today, we are one of the most indebted countries in the world. Today, we need 128% of total national revenue to service debt, pay our debt, and to pay public sector salaries. That is what the IMF and the World Bank have done to us. What the IMF and the World have done to us is that they have destroyed all the things that Nkrumah did in order to safeguard our future. Since February 24, 1966, 400 factories built by the Nkrumah government have been totally destroyed. To the extent that today, we import toothpicks and drinking water. All the industries have been destroyed. Those who do not know how death looks like sometimes can look at sleep and it will teach them a few lessons about death. We've been through it. Since 1983, the Ghanaian national currency has been devalued by 26,000%. Can you bring your head around it? 26,000% is the rate of the devaluation of the Ghanaian cedi since 1966. We would not take that path to destruction. The African people do not want to take that path to destruction. The African people amongst themselves will struggle, will discuss, will find ways of coming out of the senseless poverty that has been imposed upon us by colonialism and by today's colonialism. Today, something exceedingly significant is happening in Niger. Something very, very important is happening in Niger. 1 year ago, Niger was one of the 4 poorest countries in the world. Today, Niger is the fastest growing economy in the world. Something is happening. Learning the important lessons of what is happening here, they decided to gang up, to wage a war of aggression against Niger, to attack Nigerians, to kill them, and to kill their own. Never happen. And even if it happens, they will fail for sure. It will not happen because the progressive and revolutionary forces in these countries are not asleep. And we are working day and night to prevent them from waging a senseless war on Niger. It will never happen. It is significant that even the Parliament of Nigeria, which is not known for its revolutionary acumen, voted against Nigeria participating in a senseless war in Niger. The government of Ghana did not even have the courage to ask Parliament for approval to wage war on Niger. We know that they did not do it because they know the consequences which will be visited upon them by the progressive forces in their countries. And I like to assure you, nobody would attack Niger. And if they do attack Niger, all of us will be in the trenches fighting against them until final victory is achieved. Comrades and friends, we need not read in Manchester. Our leaders, our forebears, drew up the blueprint for African unity. That blueprint is still there, it's viable, it's implementable. In 1945, they told us, they wrote in their final resolution, that all of Africa, Africans everywhere, should participate in the struggle for national liberation. Today, we have been victorious. Many of our countries have achieved the ends of national liberation in spite of all the limitations that they have. And they told us that it is important that national liberation meant that African people should have the right to choose their own leaders and systems of government. It was part of the Manchester Resolution. And they told us that we need to work for a situation where the Africans own their resources and exploited these resources for their own benefit. that Africa must unite. And Africa must unite under the banner of scientific socialism. Organizations have failed to achieve the objectives which Nkrumah, Modibo Keita, and Sekou Touré set for us in the 1960s. Amend our constitutions, sometimes in hanky-panky ways, give themselves third terms, tear gas us, use the police to beat us and so on, and declare themselves re-elected president. Thank you.